we're not keeping out of the house,
Corey.
Ricky.
Corey's in the house.
From I Love Lucy. So a couple of nights ago, we were going through Prime Video and we saw the documentary Lucy and Desi. And then while we were watching it, Crazy was like, oh yeah, is this the Nicole Kidman movie? And I was like, wait, there's a movie? So we naturally had to go back. I think that one's on Hulu, and watch that one. And they were both really interesting because the Nicole Kidman movie, being the Ricardos, kind of focuses on a week of the show, and it has them actually being Lucy and Desi. And then the documentary was like an overlook on their whole lives, beginnings of their stories to their deaths. So what did you guys think?
We watched the first 30 minutes of it, and I was learning so much. Like,
especially about film culture.
Yeah.
You know, like the start of it, especially Desi, like his contributions bringing Latinos to the big screen. That's not in like one stereotype or the other. I thought that was really awesome. And started the Congo line. That was really exciting.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that.
His actual like overall contributions to the world, or like by the end, so name a big show from the 50s or 60s and he produced it. Like Dick Van Dyke Show,
Wow.
Andy
Griffin Show, Hogan's Heroes, like
Star Trek.
The original Star Trek was produced by him. Like, he made what we know as cable television.
Oh shit! Okay,
we have that because of him. He started the concept of reruns. He started pretty much at one point. He owned the biggest independent studio out of in the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's fucking awesome. What a life.
Honestly, and you know, they together with I Love Lucy, and they talk about this in Lucy and Desi, about how their watchers on the East Coast were kind of just getting like ins and outs of the show. So he's like, well, what about if we do it on film? Mm-hmm. But Lucille does better in front of a live audience. So why don't we just have both? And then he designed the camera systems that we still use today.
Yeah, I think that's when we stopped watching to come over here. That's fucking badass.
It's just, yeah, it was amazing to see what their company, Deslu, really accomplished and changed the world. I mean, we have TV because of them. We can say that.
Because, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that, like, Lucille Ball on herself is, like, super accomplished. Like, she had to overcome a lot of different, like, obstacles in her way. But she just did roles, and she was kind of like her silly, goofy self. And that is what really stuck out to viewers. And I thought that was amazing, too. And, like, absolute bombshell. She was so beautiful. Like, super beautiful.
It really takes you back in time, right? Like, to think about... So when she talks about how she started her career, right? She started as a showgirl, and then she went to radio, and then they made TV, and she was a contract actress for RKO Studio, and so really they just were like, hey, we need a blonde actress at this stage at this time, and she just shows up and does the part. Like, there was no issue.
Yeah,
and it's hard to imagine a time like that because normally in this day and age, it's mostly theater troupes that are doing that, like Saturday Night Live, where you just have the cast and you have them fill the different roles. But for our movie and our TV industry, it's everybody's chomping at the bit. They're auditioning. They go through hundreds of thousands of people to find the right person for it. And I think that's one of the other things that really just stood out to me with both of these movies is they show so much of how like 50s TV was happening. You had the live bands, you had the studio audiences. I never even knew, and we see this in Being the Ricardos, that radio shows back then had live studio audiences, and they were recorded or, broadcasted, with everybody there and in front of people.
I didn't know that. That's intense. Honestly, that's a little daunting.
It's like American Bandstand was the same way, but like Lucy, the I Love Lucy show seems like to really set the precedent for all that.
Yeah, you think about, like, compared to what we do right now, is just amazing to see what it took for them to get there, because yeah, we're producing the same type of product they did, except it took a studio with hundreds of people, and now we're 4 random people in our back room,
I think for older viewer audiences, it definitely brings back the nostalgia, because there are definitely people alive today who remember that. Carol Burnett was being interviewed, and she was there, she was in it, she was in the thick of it, and it's hard for like us to imagine, like, oh wow, what a big change, but we've been through some of those big changes ourselves. And then I think it's definitely going to help new generations understand what had to happen in order to get to where we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I didn't know any of this. Going into this, I had never seen... Okay, that's not true. I'd seen bits and clips and pieces of I Love Lucy. I can't say that I've never seen it. But it's
grew up with a... Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I grew up with a VHS in the house that had 2 episodes on it. The one where she goes to Italy and stops the grapes, and the Vita Vita God damn it. Vita Meta Meta Vegetin girl.
It still blows my mind that Desi never said, "Lucy, I'm home," throughout the entire run of the show.
So, we talked about that. He does say that,
does he?
But Keelan and I were talking about it. She's like, no, I remember that. What he doesn't say is, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Which I have like a vivid memory of like him coming in the door and like...
Yeah.
I, like, expressly remember that. Like, those were the 2 iconic lines of the show. You got some splaining to do. And then, I'm home. It's just like, I don't know, that's the Bernstein Bears effect, right?
You guys popped out of a different universe.
Maybe it's he never said, Lucy, I'm home. And he just said, I'm home. Or he walked in and said, Lucy. And so it could be, like people remembering, Luke, I am your father. Take my strong hand. These lines that we're like, yes, they definitely happened. But no.
The Mandela effect trips me out because I definitely remember take my strong hand. Like, I remember that perfectly.
Same. I remember that. I have vivid memory of that.
Wait, yeah.
Like, that happened.
What is the thing about that? Because I can, like, tell you scene for scene. The guy is hanging out the window. There's lightning behind him. He reaches down
I think he
says,
it's my strong hand.
But yeah.
He says, grab my hand. And he says, no, give me the other one. And he's like, no, this is my strong hand. Grab my strong hand.
Yeah.
I better use my strong hand.
I don't know, dude.
It's interesting to see how collective memories will mash up things that weren't together.
This is why, like, people going up and speaking on the stand, like, it just doesn't work. Like, people's memories fade over time. And it's not like we're doing it on purpose. It just happens. Like, we misremember shit all the time.
See, I think I Love Lucy was the reason why I always thought married couples on TV were married in real life.
Yeah.
Like, growing up,
Yeah.
And then you saw, like, Malcolm's dad with a different woman. You're like, that's not Malcolm's mom. What the hell?
What were you going to say, NJ?
So see, I actually didn't know that Lucy and Desi were married in real life until watching the doc.
No, yeah. See, Keelan thought that he was gay.
Because, like, in the first few lines, she's like, I play this role, he plays a straight man, and then we go on and we pretend. So the way that's phrased, I thought, you know, maybe she was like his beard, and he pretended to be a straight man.
But they were in love.
I mean, the way that's phrased, it just, you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It also goes on to talk about how he cheated on her with multiple women. So,
it didn't get into it as much as being the Ricardos did. They kind of alluded to it, but they never said it. So it's really interesting to compare the two.
Spoilers. Anyone who didn't know, spoilers. Desi cheats on Lucy.
I know for sure we're going to be going back. There's some I Love Lucy episodes on Prime. So that'll be the new watch.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't wait to clip all these scenes and send them to Peach. Be like, see, he says it right here.
I'm pleased. At me on Twitter. My tags down here.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's reversed. Right here.
Definitely had a lot of creative ideas, and then she was definitely a forerunner for a lot of women in the industry, because she was willing to do things that weren't typically done at that time.
She was a boss.
Hell yeah, she was.
Rolled up her sleeves to get it too.
So eventually, Desi, his health gets real bad, and he steps away from everything and retires fully, right? And so she buys him out of everything. And the one line that she says is like, yeah, that's when they added the S to the end of my name. So it's Lucy's Balls.
Lucille Ball.
Lucille Balls. Because she was a hard ass when she was the boss.
Yeah.
So yeah, they mentioned something like that about like a radio producer who did like another show, and then all his friends told him don't go work for her because she's really hard to work with. And I was just like, well, is that because she's like gotten to a standard where she like knows what she wants to do, or was she just really hard to work with? So we haven't gotten that far in the doc yet.
Yeah. We literally stopped at the 30-minute mark, like 30 minutes and some change.
She believed that great actors weren't bought, they were built. So it took time and dedication to become a great actor.
He did the damn thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, look at everything that's happened in like the past 2 years. Several people have found their strengths just by working at home.
Well, that wraps up another great episode. And don't forget to join our amazing and supportive community on Discord.
In our Discord, you can find game nights, watch parties, food picks, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. What's not to love about that? We have a little something for everyone. Head over to our website, officialmillennials.com, and you'll find more info, especially our featured Gamer of the Week.
Speaking of something for everyone, we have a book club. We read a book almost every month and talk through it together. We also have a special perk for our subs to discuss other books in a series called Chapter 2.
Don't forget to swing by YouTube and drop us a follow at Official Millennials. You can also find us on Twitter at MillsOfficial. We appreciate all the support, and y'all have a good one.
This is an Official Millennials production.